Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live today in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Big program lined up over the next 3 hours. Solid guests as always. Julian Edlow on the program in 30 minutes. Best bets for the NBA Summer League. The schedule for tonight and futures out here in Las Vegas as it starts this week. Zach Cohen on Wimbledon. As we are down now to the semis. He's coming up in an hour, and also some win totals in the NBA. Mike Palm later on, Matt Humans as well. Nice little Wednesday carved out for us, Paulie. I don't know. I might go to Home Depot after the show. Going to be a lot of fun. Right? With those Wimbledon matches earlier today, we have some day baseball in action, and 2 games already final in a WNBA, and a really good matchup right now in the second quarter. I like this. This is good.
It was fun. Yeah. And the Sun were getting 17, and they won by 10. How's a nice 11-1 on a money line at a 9 a.m., 8 a.m. start for you?
Pretty good. What was that in the fourth
good.
quarter? Like 27-9 or something like that?
Yeah.
They outscored them? That not only that, but also Golden State catching 7 points against the Fever.
Rout.
Killed them in the second half.
Yep, blew them out. And as Kazarian mentioned, they went over their win total last week. They have surprised a lot of people. And I thought the tennis was awesome. And the Joker match, phenomenal. And Kabola was game. That third set was incredible. A 17 and an 18-shot rally. And how he pulled out the third set and how the guy's still able to do this. I believe he tied Federer. If you can look that up, Luke. I believe he ties Federer with 7 straight semifinal appearances at Wimbledon. But he moves on now, and he was phenomenal. And it was a great tennis match, and the dog was plus 650 there.
Sure.
I thought he had a chance, but...
he was absolutely live, Paul.
Sure,
I mean, let's be honest here. It's not... Djokovic did not have to have the third set, but that's a total game changer for him to actually pull that one out when it was looking hairy. And if it goes to the other way, then we're probably going to be looking at a 5-setter, and then anything could happen. And
I thought he had him. I thought that Kaboli, I thought he had him.
So did
I.
Yep.
And 14 straight semis now, beating Federer's 13. Great job, Luke. So that sets up the matchup against Sinner, who didn't look like he was anything wrong with his elbow.
Well, I'm guessing Books did pretty well today.
Sure. Set 80-cent move on Shelton, right? Practice canceled. The big move on Shelton. It's 5-4 Shelton in the first set. Sinner comes back to win a tiebreaker, and then he was 2-1 to win in straight sets. Sinner against Joker and Alcaraz against Fritz for all the marbles. Going to be a fun Friday.
At DK, Sinner is minus 215. The Joker plus 160. You've been watching a lot of this.
Yeah.
Today it kind of felt like the Sinner news, to me anyway, and I'll keep going back to this occasionally when the football season comes up. It's like on game day, right? It could be a primetime game on a Monday night, Thursday night, whatever. Hey, this guy's questionable, and it really is unlikely that he's going to play. Okay, well then how about we bet some unders on him, and he comes out and he looks like he's perfectly healthy and there's nothing wrong, and he has 9 catches for 130 yards. Like, wait, what was up with that report? And Sinner today, to come back, and I say come back, it's like he was coming back from the dead after not practicing yesterday. But to win like that in straight sets, to be impressive overall, not too shabby. Again, Luke's our producer here. He loves tennis, and he thinks the number, to me, talking before the show started, he thinks it should be a little bit shorter here. Thinks plus 160 is a good number to grab on Joker.
Okay. And then money came in on Fritz. Well, right before the show as well. Alcaraz was $6, and now he's at $5.25 in some spots, minus 5.5 games, and minus 150 to win Wimbledon now as well. So,
he was plus 425 in that match against Alcaraz, and now that's gone, wiped away. Maybe at some books, I guess, but at DK, he's now down to plus 390 there.
And then we knew this was going to happen with the women and Belinda Bencic, who just had the kid and took the break off, a time off. I think she's 29 years old. ESPN was making it out like when USA beat Russia in hockey. I mean, she was only 2-1, but she moves on to the semis, and she takes on Iga, who's $3. The last 3 years, the women's draw at Wimbledon, the winners were 100-1, 80-1, and 100-1. Bencic was 66-1 at some spots, higher in others. She's through to the semis. It's Sabalenka's tournament, $1.30 to win it. But then you have that tomorrow, early in the morning, 8:30 in the morning with the Sabalenka match, and then Iga goes right after that. See if this happens again. We get another long shot here, and you can certainly maneuver because if you have the 70-1, the 65-1, it's not an outrageous price on Iga if you want to hedge or try to lock in a profit.
Well, sure, but I would say, right, I mean, based on how this tournament has gone over the years, now, this could be, as you mentioned, Sabalenka's tournament, and she might win the next two, and then it looks easy peasy at that point. But she was in trouble in her last match. There's no denying that.
Right.
And it did not look pretty.
Right. Down 3-1 in the third.
So I don't know. Maybe we're going to get more carnage here on the ladies' side. But it's been a fun tournament.
Could be, yeah.
And, coupled with what happened at the French Open, if we get Sinner and Alcaraz again in the final, I mean, based on what took place at Roland Garros, I mean, that's going to, it's must-watch TV anyway every year in these majors, or Grand Slams. But that would be awesome to get those two guys to go back-to-back here in such a short amount of time for two different titles. In the WNBA, we talked about those two games today where the dogs were barking big time. The Connecticut Sun to win like that, I mean, ridiculous. Horrible loss by Seattle. Mm-hmm. Minnesota was also laying a big number today, 7.5 against Phoenix. They are tied right now, 30 apiece. About 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And then later on tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's your big boy.
Yeah.
Angel Reese in action. Did you ladder it?
I have not yet.
20 rebounds is 6-1. DraftKings has 13 plus $1.90. 14 plus $1.50. The over-under is 14.5. 6 games in a row with 15 or more. And first player to do so, and then going back the last 6, she's averaging 18, 17, and 5 dimes. She's $1.75 to score 15 plus points as well. $1.05 to score 17. This great run that she's on, and should be a high-scoring game as they're taking on Dallas, and Dallas laying 1.
All right, so I'm seeing 14 plus rebounds right now as low as minus 112.
Okay, much better.
I think that's absolutely worth a bet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bet that right now. Actually.
You want to do with the points? What do you want to do with the points?
Well, actually, that's another. I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, it's a little inflated because they're going back on the run she's on, but. The body of work, we're averaging 12 a game. This great run has coincided with an injury, and also she's found her game, but also it's only a 6-game sample size, so it's a little high tonight with the points prop.
Yeah. Well, I would look at this, though, Paulie, because the rebounds now have been adjusted so high that the PRA has been pretty awesome with her, and that might be more tolerable, I guess, at this point, if you don't want to swallow such a big number with the rebounding props. Although, again, like 14 plus, same thing as over 13.5 minus 112. I'm going to have to bet that one on principle. I'm also looking, I see 16 plus. You mentioned some other numbers. 16 plus is plus 210 tonight. A lot of these books will offer different props on her.
Sure.
Which is great. Mm-hmm. And DK, this got so popular with her that they, a while back now, earlier this summer, they actually started to go with the me-bounds. And I love how she embraced that, by the way.
Trademarked it, called up the agent. Great move.
Sure.
Yep.
Getting creative, wants to capitalize on this. It's not, you can make fun of her all you want. I think that's a huge mistake. And we've talked about this with, the likes of Doug Kazarian in the past, where he's in the same boat as Jay Billis, where they call hustle a skill.
Great line.
And there's nothing, I mean, who should be ashamed of something like that? You should be proud of that. That's how every single athlete should play. And for her to actually say, okay, I can do something about this. Why not? Mm-hmm. I'll have fun with it, and that's pretty cool.
Great job. Let me sneak in a play here before this gets out of control. I love the Phillies today. They're $1.80 in play. They're even money run line at DraftKings. Shop wherever you bet. They're up 1-0. Where middle of July, Verlander doesn't have a win. Verlander, after his last start, I can't quite get fastballs by guys when I should be able to. I can't get them to chase the good off-speed pitch. When I throw a bad one, they're on it. I've had 2 or 3 instances in my career where everything I've done, I've known to try to fix something doesn't work, and I've had to reinvent the wheel. Well, right now, I'm just throwing bleep against the wall and see what works. Hopefully, I can rely on a lot of my past and understand my mechanics and figure it out quickly. That's an unbelievable quote. He just doesn't have it. Telling quote, can't get it past the guys, won't chase the off-speed stuff, throwing bleep against the wall. Already 1-0 Phillies in the second inning, and there could be more coming for the Phillies. And after that vicious beat last night with an inside-the-park walk-off home run job.
That was how about this? OptaStats on X, the first day, and this makes sense, right? It's the first time in Major League Baseball history to have both a leadoff inside-the-park home run, that was Lawrence Butler for the A's last night, and a walk-off inside-the-park home run, Patrick Bailey, the one that you just talked about, all in the same day. I get it. Like, that's impossible. It's never happened in the history of baseball, and there's a reason why.
Yeah. Catcher hadn't done since 26.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
17 blown saves by this Phillies team on the year.
I know. What the record could be. Third most blown saves, no doubt.
Like, this pitching staff is too good to have a wasted season. Mm-hmm. Right? You have to do something at the deadline. You have to shore that up. There's no messing around. Like, they are getting, like, phenomenal starts from almost all their guys in the rotation every time out. Now, there's going to be a hiccup once in a while.
Yeah.
But look back to that series against Houston not that long ago. They gave up 5 earned runs. They pitched almost 20 innings combined in a 3-game series, and they never won a game.
Yep. Our NFL Guide's out. It's awesome, over 90 pages. We got a game coming up in a couple weeks. Hall of Fame game. Can't wait. Previews of every team, every division, best bets, awards, MVP. Got it all. Lock in your football special for $175 through the Super Bowl. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the 24/7 video, the data, the tools. This expires July 31st. Coincides with the Hall of Fame game. That's when it expires. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now. $175 through the Super Bowl. VSiN.com/subscribe.
We have to hope that Verlander can make it through the second time, and the second time through the order with the Phillies. I'll explain why coming up next to maybe get a live bet in. And more on Major League Baseball. One game had a major impact on an award. Details next.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live in downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Busy hour on tap in 15 minutes. Door 1 or door number 2. Mike Palm at the bottom of the hour. VP right here at Circa. And now we head out to the Progressive Guest Line as Zach Cohen joins the program. Has incredible write-ups every day throughout the entire year. Doesn't matter the sport season. He's going to be on something at vsin.com, and he joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Zach, good afternoon. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. We'll get into your NBA win totals that you like already and that you've bet. You have 3 of them at least at this point. But first, you love betting on tennis. We're down to the semis now on both sides. Let's begin with the men. They'll go at it later on in the week, obviously. And Joker goes against Sinner. In this matchup, Sinner 215 at DK, Joker plus 160. You've already analyzed this match. What'd you come away with?
Yeah, so I have a weird play for this match. I have over 0.5 tiebreakers. So this match to have a tiebreaker at minus 140. We've seen a tiebreaker between these two in each of their last 3 matches and also 5 of their last 7. Also, one of those matches was a best of 3 where they played 2 tiebreakers. So, Djokovic is one of the best returners in the history of the sport, but he's never really had a good read on Sinner, even, when they played at Roland Garros, where the conditions are a little slower, it favors returners a little bit. He's had a lot of trouble breaking him, and the other way around, Djokovic is just a very good server on grass. He hits his locations. He comes up. He finishes points easily. I think we're going to see at least one tiebreaker, especially with both of them a little banged up. They know the importance of kind of winning easy points.
Very good. That is unique. That's excellent. Alcaraz was $6. Now he's down to $5.25 at some spots. Can Fritz get a set off him?
I think Fritz is going to win a set. That's the way I played the match pretty much. I went over 3.5 sets because it is like minus 135 as opposed to taking, minus 175 on Fritz to win one. I don't really see a scenario where Fritz wins straight. So it feels like the same bet to me, but I do think that Alcaraz is a player we've seen throughout his career. He just plays with his food a lot. I mean, you look at his against the spread numbers, his over under numbers. He tends to, to lose against the spread. He tends to play matches that go over the total. Yeah. And it's because he does, want to go out there and put on a little bit of a show. And that tends to put him in some trouble against players that are kind of all business, which is what Fritz is. Fritz is a really good server. He's a really solid player from the back of the court. And he's unbelievable on grass. He's already won 2 grass court titles this year. I just thought it was a little crazy to kind of expect Alcaraz to win this one in straights.
When you say that, do you mean he tries to hit the perfect shot? Alcaraz putting on a show, like play to the crowd, and then he gets in trouble? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, he'll hit a crazy shot looking for a winner or a drop shot or something like that to try to dazzle the crowd when the more obvious shot is just kind of taking the simple route and approaching the net or something like that. That's kind of the difference between him and Sinner, in my opinion. Sinner is, never making the wrong decision on the court, and that's why he really rarely, gets upset in these big tournaments. Alcaraz, for as many majors as he does win, he does tend to lose some, head-scratching matches.
Well, Zach, based on that then, is there a number right now in the future market that is worth playing, in your opinion, with Alcaraz here set as a 150 favorite to win the whole thing?
It's tough because these guys all kind of beat up on each other. Sinner beats up on Djokovic. He can't beat Alcaraz, and Djokovic has had Alcaraz's number. I think with Sinner being a little bit wounded with that elbow, Djokovic at plus 400 is probably the only way that I would go about this. I do have a pre-tournament future on Djokovic at plus 650. I also grabbed Sinner yesterday at plus 460 when there was some really bad news about his elbow going around, but it ended up being fine. But I do think Djokovic, if he faces Alcaraz, he's won 4 of his last 5 against him. Grass is his best surface, and I do think this is his best chance of winning that 25th Grand Slam title. So if Djokovic is going to do it, it's going to happen here. And 4-1 would be a really good number to have in that final.
Tomorrow, the ladies' semifinals. I love Sabalenka's game, but she throws temper tantrums out there and can be a bit of a head case. The unforced errors and how she blew it against Coco Gauff in the finals of the French Open. Minus 250 tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like Anisimova to win a set in that match, which I got at minus 125. I also think it's worth a money line sprinkle. Anisimova is one of the few players on tour that has had Sabalenka's number to an extent. She's 5-3 against her in her career. She has the power from the back of the court to kind of go, blow for with her. It's not going to be a matchup where Sabalenka clearly has the advantage in power. I actually think Anisimova's backhand is going to be the biggest weapon on the court in this match. The big difference between these two is Sabalenka has done this before. Maybe not at Wimbledon, but at other tournaments. Anisimova has never been to a final before. So I'm a little bit worried about her maybe getting ahead and potentially having trouble, reaching that finish line. That's kind of why I'm going bigger on the set spread than I am the money line. But I do think it's a match that's a lot closer to a 50-50 than the odds suggest.
Okay, then how about the other match? Swiatek is minus $3. And by the way, she's plus 180 right now at DK to win it. What do you make of that number?
Yeah, I really think Iga's going to handle her business against Bencic. This is a matchup that has been very successful for her in the past, and she actually beat her at Wimbledon 2 years ago, and that's significant because Iga hasn't really been a great grass court player throughout her career. She has gotten much better at it over the last few seasons and definitely is peaking on grass at this time of year. Also, I think that Iga just got through 3 players that really have given her trouble in the past, like really big hitters and aggressive players are the types of players that can kind of bully her a little bit. But she beat Danielle Collins, Clara Tauson, and Ludmila Samsonova. And she did it easily with all 3 of them. So now that she gets kind of a similar player to her, where she's going to have the edge in power and serve, I really would find it hard to believe that she's going to lose now. And plus 180, it's maybe tempting. I'd probably lay off it and just wait to see what the number would be in the final. But I do think she has a shot at winning this tournament. She was one of my picks at plus 800 before it started, hoping for the best there. I mean, if she faces Anisimova, I'll be able to get a nice hedge.
Follow the money, Paulie and Mitch Veasan, the Sports Betting Network. Zach Cohen, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Some places have NBA win totals out. Last year in the West, 8 teams won at least 48 games. The Clippers went 50-32. They just made a big trade the last few days. What do you want to do? You heavy. 3 units you recommend. Clippers over. What number did you get and why?
It was 45.5 at DraftKings, and I just thought that was insanely low. Like you just said, they won 50 games last year. They did not have a healthy Kawhi Leonard, missed more than half the regular season. I thought he looked right back to being a top 10 player in the league when he came back in the playoffs. And I do think that this is a team that got a little bit better in the offseason. There wasn't anything splashy. There was no Kevin Durant trade, but Brook Lopez is still a very good rim protector and a good floor spacer. I think for 20 minutes a night, when you bring Zubats off the floor, like having Lopez out there is going to help you a lot. And I do think that losing Norman Powell and bringing in John Collins, if you are getting Bradley Beal, is just a great move by the front office, because I think Collins gives them a little bit of something they didn't have last year, which is a true power forward that can play above the rim, but also can step out and knock down threes. He shot about 40% from three in Utah, and I do think he's going to be a great pick and roll or pick and pop threat with James Harden. And then, like I said, with Beal, I mean, it seems like it's very likely he's going to end up in Los Angeles. And I think that Beal, for as bad as he was on a $50 million contract, he's going to look really good on a $5 million contract. Because last year he shot about 50, 40, 80 and averaged 18 points per game. It was just a really bad fit. I mean, him and Booker are too similar.
Yeah. Now, okay, win total is one thing. Did you bet the Clippers at all to win the West or to win the title or anything crazy like that?
No, not yet. I mean, I think I'm going to want to see it a little bit early in the year and just kind of see what it looks like with Collins, because it is a player that played very well for a bad Jazz team. And I think Tim McMahon noted it today, but he's, on the court for 70% of their wins. They just tried to hold him out whenever they could, because they were trying to tank. But I do want to see what it looks like a little bit. I think we'll still be able to get a good number on the Clippers in season like we did last year. Obviously, it didn't work out very well, but I do think it's a team that will be live if everything kind of works well.
Yeah, very good. Zach, how do you want to attack the Warriors? Their win total a little bit higher than the Clippers, around 47.5.
Yeah, I went over on this too, and I was kind of low on the Warriors last year after the Butler deal. I just thought that they lacked a little bit of shot creation, but the numbers are the numbers. They played at a 60-win pace after they got Butler. They were the number one team in the league in points allowed per 100 possessions. I just think that defense is going to be really good again, and if they are able to make some small moves on the margins, I really just have a hard time believing they're not going to win 48 or more games. I know they kind of put a lot on Steph Curry, and Curry is no youngster now. Maybe he'll get injured and this will be doomed, but I'm just interested in seeing what they do the rest of the offseason. It sounds like Al Horford will land there. I think Horford's better than every center they had on the roster last year, even at his age now, just still a really good three-point shooter, a really good passer, and a solid defender. So I'm interested in seeing what they do, but Horford on the Warriors with all of those really smart basketball players just sounds like a great makeup of a team.
Chaos in the East. How about the Cavs and Knicks? Last man standing. Knicks have made some good moves. Brown, the new coach. How about over 47.5?
Yeah, I think what the Knicks have done to go over that number, it was a high number, but I do think that they're going to do it. I just think that Brown is going to be a little bit better than Tibbs was last year. I know that doesn't seem like an upgrade on paper, but Tibbs had a defensive mindset, a defensive reputation with New York, and that team was not very good defensively. So why not bring in another defensive mind, try to get a little bit closer to top 10 in defensive efficiency? You're not going to lose much offensively because the offense is pretty much roll the ball out to Brunson, hope he creates a shot. Brown could try some new things, implement a new offense. I just don't really see, this floor being all that low because we've seen how good they can be. And they have made some very good offseason upgrades. I think Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele are huge upgrades along the bench. I mean, two guys I'm almost certain can play in the postseason, but Clarkson being, an unbelievable firepower scorer off the bench, somebody that's just way better than Cameron Payne was a year ago. And Yabusele being a versatile big that, could score in the post, step and hit threes, and also defend. That's just an insane upgrade for a team that did not have a lot of money.
Yeah, great stuff. You can always read Zach's analysis at vsin.com and follow him on X. He is at Betting on X. Zach, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the week. We appreciate it.
You too, guys. Thanks.
And he was on the Progressive Guest Line today.
Good stuff. Can't wait. Dodgers just blew it.
They did?
Yep. And the Brewers have the winning run on third with 2 outs.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Let's see if they lose 6 in a row. And I'll go home and watch this tonight on delay. I find it is a cool moment. They've reached the money bubble at the World Series of Poker. There are 1,462 players left. The next elimination, everyone gets $15,000. So it's getting down to it here. This is always wild now at the World Series with the money bubble. About to burst.
Bet on this team for the most wins in the NFL or another to have the most losses. Door number 1 or door number 2 is next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. It is Wednesdays with the Maestro. Mike Palm is the VP of Circa Las Vegas, along with the Golden Gate and the D here in downtown. He joins us here live on the desk. Good to see you today, Mike. How are you?
Hello, Mitch. Hello, Paul. Great. Very good. Grandissimo number 3.
How about this?
Break the news. Yeah.
We got a text at 1:46 Pacific time from Derek Stevens, and it said, we just had a local regular customer walk into the Tuscany, and he became the third Grandissimo entry. It's a $100,000 Survivor contest.
Yes. I believe that we will have 4 or 5 by the time the week's out. I think there's some more people coming in. Maybe tomorrow morning, and then I hear one on Saturday. You know, you hear because some of them wire the money in.
Yeah,
this guy, no, he just walked in and went up to the desk
and said, I want to enter.
Here's $100,000.
And he's a local who lives here. You guys know him.
The better. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Regular better.
But so he's aware, and he'll take advantage of the whole 3 days and everything like that. And okay. Yeah. Very good. Just walked in. Here you go. Here's
$100,000. Give me one of them Grandissimos.
What do you think now?
Duffel bag?
I still think my number of 30.5 is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought you were on crack. You might have it.
Gain a little momentum early here.
Sure.
I thought we might still be at 1 September 1st, right?
You might be 7 by next week.
Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Strong.
What's your number on it, Paulie?
I said 18.5, I think.
No.
17.5.
I think.
We've talked to numerous people now who have said they're getting in too.
I know.
How about Deeb? Did you tell Deeb on it yesterday?
He might get in.
We brought it up to him.
You know what's the untold story here is Survivor's pacing up like 23% already. This we see every day. The people out here with
more than 2,000 already, huh?
Yeah, with the proxies doing their signups. So
if that remains at the same pace, what does that mean overall for the number?
Well, go up a fifth on 14 million, right? So that
not true,
right? So you're up into over 17
at
that point.
Yeah,
I mean, we're still talking small numbers here, right? But
here's what you always have to remember too: you're up 23% year to date. Mm-hmm. Don't forget again what that last week is going to be like. If you guys have averaged basically 1,000 a day in the last week, in the last couple of years, that number could trend up 23% as well.
Also,
or probably higher is my guess.
I mean, also, like what we were sitting at like 8,000 with a week to go last year, right? What if we're sitting at 10,000 with a week to go here? But people would be more inclined if they think it's going to get towards 20.
Right.
So, and the other one, millions caught up. We were down 10, 12%. Now we're pacing just a little bit ahead right now.
Yep. How are you feeling right now? This is when Paulie was on vacation, going back a couple of weeks. You were filling in, and we talked a lot about the Milwaukee Brewers, and you made the case that this team's going to be dangerous in the playoffs. You were convinced they're going to be a playoff team, and you were betting them at 30-1 to win the National League, whatever the number was. They just finished off a sweep here of the LA Dodgers.
At 31 plus 475 to win the NL Central, and 30-1. And now, Paul, you just found them 14-1 after they swept the Dodgers. I don't think that there's anybody that's, we said the Dodgers are the big juggernaut. Are you afraid of them playing the Phillies? Are you afraid of them playing the Mets? Are you afraid of them if they play the Cubs? Are you afraid of them playing the Giants? I'm not. And you can get down to a National League Championship Series against the Dodgers. You're certainly not going to get those numbers again. I mean, the 30-1 might be plus 140. Who knows at that point? Dodgers seem a little bit disinterested right now as well. Now, what's the 6 in a row for them?
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, though, they're missing, obviously, a lot of pitchers and a lot of guys in the regular day lineup as well.
They have more payroll they've paid out to injured players this year than like 3 teams have payroll. It's true. No, it's like $132 million to while people were on the injured list.
Yeah. You said something before the break. We were calling this game between the Cubs and who are they playing right now?
Minnesota
Twins last night. A fishy number, by the way. And we've had like a fishy number on the baseball card every day going back.
With Imanaga going against Woods Richardson.
Okay.
Right.
but you thought it was a little bit bizarre spot for him?
Well, it's a sleepy spot for them, right? And I thought Baldelli made a right move. I'd play Vargas at catcher the whole series. You need somebody the Cubs like to run early in these games. You can't just let them steal bases and steal bases and steal bases and steal bases. So I thought it was your fishy number, right? How about in the fishy number on the Astros Monday, too, coming off? That got bet from like 187 down to 116. That got bet off the board to the Guardians, and the Guardians came back and did it again last night. But can we officially say Verlander's done now?
Did you hear me earlier in the day?
I did not.
Read this. Yeah,
no, I did not.
He's got some great angles on this, yeah.
This is after the last start, okay? It's 4-0 Phillies. I can't get fastballs by guys when I should be able to. I can't get them to chase the good off-speed pitch. When I throw a bad one, they're on it. I've had 2 or 3 instances in my career where everything I've known to try to fix something doesn't work, and I've had to reinvent the wheel. Well, now it's time to just throw bleep against the wall and see what works. Hopefully I can rely a lot on my past and understand my mechanics and figure it out quickly. Doesn't have a win. We're almost to August.
And point this out, too. He doesn't have a win, and he's faced the White Sox. He's faced the Rockies. He's faced the Marlins and the A's twice and doesn't have a win. When my son was born, so that's December of 15. So this is the year 2016. And he had a bad ending to 15, and he started out, and I had a tweet because Derek and Nicole gave him a Tigers onesie. So I put it in on opening day, and I put this tweet out about he whispered, Verlander is done, Daddy. Now, that's 9 years ago. Right? Obviously, you talk about reinventing yourself. He reinvented himself. But what's left now? You're right. We're mid-July, and he doesn't have a win yet.
Well, I mean, let's pretend for a second this team makes the playoffs, right? They're still a pretty good team.
I think they will make the playoffs.
How can they possibly trot him out there?
Cannot.
Can he even be on the roster?
I don't think he can take up a roster. We can't. What are you going to bring him in if they're long relief? You're going to try to close with him. He can't throw a fastball by anybody.
No way. No. We got a good tweet earlier. I love doing cross-sport parlays, and I've done a couple. I'll have one tomorrow again in the pizzeria. Somebody said you can bet Ohio State just to make the playoff and the Bills to win the East. It's like minus 128, which I think is a really good bet.
A lot of things you can do with the Bills to win the East.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's way too short. It's just a bet that Josh Allen doesn't get hurt. I mean, Scooble with Bills to win the East. I think Skeen's a little more vulnerable, but you could still do that. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can take with the Bills to win the East as 2-team parlays that you can get you to about even money.
So you think Scooble, Cy Young?
How's he going to lose to Cy Young? Where's his bad stuff? He's just a machine right now.
He really is.
10 Ks, and maybe he gives up a run or two.
And he throws up and in. He doesn't care. And the team scores a lot of runs for him. Here's the problem with Detroit. Outside of Scooble, who do you trust as a starter? Nobody for me. And I'm an Olsen guy. He gives up 2 in the first today.
Can you get there with Mize? In a big game,
playoff spot? You're saying you like Mize?
Run this by him, what you brought up to Derek yesterday. ESPN.com, the proposed trade.
Job, Keith, and their 2 best prospects for Skeens.
Derek, I thought was going to punch Paul for bringing it up.
Yeah.
No, he got to be offended.
He was.
He should be offended.
Yeah, he should be offended.
He absolutely should be offended. That's ridiculous.
There's no way you'd make that deal?
No, I wouldn't make. Why would you give up Job? I think he got hurt. I wouldn't give him up. Why would you give up all your prospects for Skeen? How long are you going to keep? You're not going to pay them both.
Well,
you're
that's
going to give
point.
them both $300 million.
That's the thing.
You can't.
You have to pay them over the next 10 years between like $600 and $800 million combined.
You have to give up one of them. So there's no point to that.
Imagine they do that, and then look at this, arm trouble for both guys again.
No.
You'd be completely stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only worry with Scooble is he's been injured before. To me. I look at Skeens and
my comeback is I have Scooble and Skeens.
Yes.
Which is pray for rain.
Yeah, well,
right?
I'll put Flaherty in there. Maybe he can only give up 3 runs, but good luck beating me in a playoff, especially in a short series. Sorry.
I have a little Houston to win the American League. I added them when you were on vacation at the end of that week too, so I don't feel too bad about that.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees. Tell me where the Yankees are better than Toronto in any position other than Judge.
I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs.
They are.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
They might not.
I don't know. Yeah. The other one, too.
The only thing they have going is that nobody will come out of the Central except the Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's over, right?
Yeah. And then how many teams are actually going to come out of the West?
2. Houston and Seattle?
Maybe Seattle. I don't know.
Maybe Seattle.
I said this earlier. You can't trust them against good teams.
No. That's true. They don't. And every one of the pitchers is not quite what you expected them to be. Maybe other than Wu, who I think
Wu's
maybe
better,
is the best one right now.
Well, after the show, we're going to say hi to Glenn from Quincy, who we met at Foxwoods. So many people are doing this, and I met Chris from Illinois, who he's an importer-exporter.
Oh, Chris
he's
is
a
an
good
awesome
guy.
dude. Yeah.
Go all in.
Did he tell you, by the way, true story, he gave up the exporting?
Yes, he told me. Yes. Yeah, it's so good. That's the all-in package at Circa, $400, 2-night stay, $100 dining credit. The guy from Japan did this too. $100 beverage credit. Your own day bed at Stadium Swim where the party never stops. Limited time offer through September 4th. Go all in. CircaLasVegas.com. get a cabana while you're here. Reach out to Big Balls Wilbo, also a booth here at the book. Lock it in, all-in summer package, circalasvegas.com, $400.
That was Tim Foote, who came in from Okinawa to sign up for the contest as well. Now, Derek gave him a bunch of, Circa swag because he said he's going to be the longest traveler to get here. Tim said, I'm not going to be. I know people are going to be coming from longer distances than Okinawa.
Where?
He said Australia.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. New Zealand, Australia,
They're coming.
Siberia. Where are the longer places?
Is Siberia longer than...
I think you've got to go inland a little bit.
More with Mike Palm up next. Did we miss the scheduling spot of all scheduling spots? You cannot be serious. Next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
As we roll along here on a Wednesday, we're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. The Maestro is with us, Mike Palm, the VP of this great property. Time now for You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Well, the WNBA continues to give us content each and every week, fellas, and I don't know if I just missed this and I didn't look far enough ahead because I was too focused on watching that crazy All-Star draft last night. But how about this game on Camp Day? I first became familiar with this 2 years ago, where the WNBA has this called Camp Day, so their young fans, little girls supposedly, can come out and watch all these daytime games. And today was the day. It's always before the All-Star break. But you had a West Coast team in Seattle, the Storm, playing in Connecticut against the god-awful Sun. The Sun came into the game 2-16, averaging margin of loss 18 points a game in those 18 games. That's 10 points worse than the next worst margin of loss team, the Chicago Sky. The Sun, with the game tipping off at 8 a.m. body clock time, West Coast time, 11 a.m. on the East Coast, opened as a 16.5-point favorite, closed 18.5, and got beat by 10, 93-83 by the awful Sun. Even the coach of Phoenix, before their game today against the Lynx, which they won, the Phoenix Mercury, Nate Tibbetts came out and said, this is terrible. The scheduling is bad. You're making a West Coast team play at 11 a.m. East Coast guy. You're stealing the game from the West Coast team. The scheduling, we could do a segment about this, 5 minutes about this every week. How about the Lynx? Okay, the Lynx lost today at Phoenix. The Lynx played 4 games in 7 days. 3 of their 4 opponents had been off for at least 6 days before the game.
Oh, boy.
We talked about this last year with Caitlin and how they played 11 games in 20 days. The scheduling is so unbad. We can talk about the officiating all day in this league, but the scheduling is so bad, and I always criticize the commissioner. But this girl, Bethany Donovan, who's a former player, who's director of basketball operations, seems to be the one who's most in charge of the scheduling in this league, and it's got to simply change. WNBA!
You cannot be serious!
You remember the Alexi Lawless rant about this generation of American soccer players? It's one of the more famous rants probably of this century. The entitled class who's done nothing, who's won nothing, who do nothing but make excuses. Well, nothing changed on Sunday at NRG Stadium as they faced Mexico in the Gold Cup game. Despite scoring in the first 5 minutes, putting the USA up 1-0, they were utterly dominated the rest of the game. Outshot 16-6 by Mexico, outpossessed 60% to 40%. And of course, when the game was over, they had nothing but excuses as to why they lost the game. Mauricio Pochettino, their coach, who was horrible at Chelsea, as you know, Paul, this year, and then became the U.S. national coach, blamed it totally on the officiating on 2 calls, one of which he thought should have been a handball against Mexico in the 56th minute. Paul, the very definition of the rule is that if a defender is falling and he places his hand that's between his arm, that's between the ground and his body on the ball, it's not a handball. And it wasn't called a handball correctly. Then on the Mexico goal that won the game, it was originally ruled by the assistant referee offsides on the play. They went to VAR. I don't think it was offsides at all. The player who was offsides didn't interfere in the course of the play. There was a player who was offsides, but he had nothing to do with the play. And it was a double touch to begin with. Complained about both those calls. He said Mexico had 2 goals overruled by offsides earlier in the tournament, and it would have been very hard to uphold that call and not have ruled it off. He believes both calls were influenced by the 70,000 people in the crowd. Oh, by the way, this game was in Houston, Texas. Yeah. And he's complaining about how all the Mexican fans, or those supporting Mexico, influenced the game. It's nothing but excuse making now for 30 years with this U.S. men's national team, and nothing has changed. Mauricio Pochettino.
You cannot be serious.
Finally, I just had to bring this up about saves in baseball. You know, this journeyman reliever who spent most of his time in the minor leagues, Jason Alexander, came in Friday night at Chavez Ravine and pitched the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings for the Houston Astros in a game that they led 18-1 and earned a save. Because the qualification is if you pitch 3 innings and you're not the winning pitcher and your team wins, no matter how many runs you're up by, you get a save. This kid has an ERA of almost 9 and earned his first career save. There has to be some sort of a qualification as to how many runs a team is ahead to actually earn it. He could have come in and given up 16 earned runs in those 3 innings and gotten a save in that spot. Now, I'm digressing into my real point here, is about all these position players pitching every day. I'm sick of it. Enough is enough. Not this Saturday, but last Saturday, at one point in time, I sat here in the book, mid-afternoon, like 3:15 p.m. on a Saturday. There were 3 different games that had position players in their pitching.
At the same time.
Yes. 71 miles an hour, 52 miles. I mean, we are ruining the game. Davey Roberts can't wait. He wants to get down 8 or 9 runs so that he can put the position, but he can't wait to get Kiki Hernandez into the game. He can't wait to get Ramos into the game. It sucks. And it sucks for bettors who are betting in-game that now you're just going to bring a guy in there throwing 51 miles an hour. Manfred, you've got to legislate this out. It's too much now. The position players are. Major League Baseball.
You cannot be serious.
By the way, good job, Mike. That was happening right away to begin the season. In blowout losses, we're talking like April. Like, wait a second, the season just started.
And they're saving their bullpens?
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Come on.
Great message here from Robert. More on the WNBA because we've had 3 now massive upsets.
Yeah.
He did the math on this. If you bet all, who's going to have this, right? Maybe you'll see some tickets. But the Sun, Valkyries, and Mercury on a 3-team moneyline parlay would pay roughly 127-1.
Valkyries were an 8-point dog too.
Sure.
And win by 19.
Killed them.
Yeah.
So what happened while live on the air? Was this game on TV?
It had to be.
Okay, somewhere.
Yeah. Ion, something like that.
The Mercury outscored the Lynx 19. This happens all the time in this sport. They outscored them 19-4 in the last 5:45 and 10-0 over the final 3 minutes to win the game.
The individual quarters in this league are amazing. 6 points, 4 points.
Yes.
Indiana got outscored. What do they have? 8 points in the fourth quarter. To your point, The Lynx in the fourth quarter. And even Seattle was winning that game going into the fourth quarter that they lost by 10 against the Sun.
What do you think they were in play?
Oh. Well, if they're an 18.5-point favorite and they were up 8 going into the fourth quarter, they were probably 25-1 favorites in that game. You could probably got back 12 or 13-1 on the Sun.
Yep. Okay, so you love betting baseball. We had a bunch of day games today. Do you like anything on the card coming up later on tonight?
Come on.
I have 3 plays.
Okay,
I have 3 plays.
Reds?
No, I can't watch the Reds. The Reds are like a minor league team. I'm going to take the Astros on the run line tonight to bounce back in this spot. You know, they're 7-0 at home after giving up 10 runs the game before. I just can't imagine that they're going to get swept by the Guardians. I think the Cubs wake up tonight.
Okay.
Orton's been pitching better and better and better. And they're a dog. Minus 105. And then, how does Kyle Hendricks get anybody out? Have you watched him pitch?
Yes.
How can he get anybody out? I'm going to take Texas minus 115 tonight against the Angels.
This Rocker kid, by the way, has been pretty decent.
That's
very good.
Yeah.
Remember him when he was a star in the College World Series.
Yeah.
So Rocker.
What do we make of the Rangers offense at this point? Are we buying into like the sudden warmth that we've seen from certain spots of the lineup?
Well, they're supposed to have been a lot better. I keep looking at this lineup saying, how can this team?
I know
they have the 3rd least runs score. How can this team be so futile?
They had to send Josh Young back to the minors.
And I know the Simeon kid's having a bad year. He's hit a little better. I mean, he's having a really bad year.
Yeah.
But the team is too talented. The team is much too talented. I know the ballpark. They keep talking about the ball doesn't fly in that park. Balls they think are home runs land short of the warning track. I still don't know if they're going to have enough to make it. I mean, if they can start scoring 4.5 runs a game, and then they have a shot with the staff. You know, Mitch, we talked about shutouts. We had all those shutouts when Paul was on vacation. I looked up this stat. This year is on pace to have 365 shutouts this Major League season, which it would be the highest of all time, and break the record of 359 from 1915 in the dead ball era. Incredible, the number of shutouts.
What's the explanation behind that?
That the highest in the last 6 years was 268.
You're going to blow by that by 100?
Yes.
Our offense is this bad? Pitching can't be this good overall, can it?
Well, the amazing part is to have a shutout, you have probably used 3 pitchers on average.
No kidding.
In the back of these bullpens, which seem to yak every night.
Yeah, so we're going to get that many, and yet what's the most by any individual pitcher for a complete game shutout? 2?
Well, that if you put under 2.5, you'd have to lay 15-1 on the under. I mean, yeah, they don't even get the complete game. Look at Wheeler, has about as good a game as you could pitch. He made one mistake on Sunday.
Yeah, there isn't.
Is he alive? Is he alive for our tickets?
Oh, he's going to win.
Is he going to win it?
He's going to win National League Cy Young.
Thank you.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you
Damn
got
right.
Steen.
That's another.
He's got the best stats in 200 years.
That's another leg. Wheeler to win the National League Cy Young on crossbar parlays.
What's he down
plus
to?
110?
Really?
Yeah.
I got 8-1.
You're
from
that
before the
strong on it?
season.
Super strong on that. Yes.
He's always a bridesmaid, though. He's second,
Always,
he's
I know,
third.
that's scary. We don't have a single starting pitcher with more than 1 shutout this year. Will anybody even get to 2?
You could probably go back to before COVID and not find anybody with 3 in a year.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody can throw 110 pitches anymore. That's it.
No. Great job, Michael.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Up next, we will get into the evening slate. Boy, the market thinks this struggling team opened up way too high as a favorite.